Yellowstone star Reilly explains why fans love Beth Dutton so much. Reilly was terrified to play Beth Dutton on Yellowstone. At first, she didn't have a full understanding of her complicated character, and it took her a minute to get there. Of course, playing Beth would be challenging for any actor, as she's messy, complex, and downright vicious at times. She even killed her own brother, though it was justified. On the flip side, she's maternal, fearless, unapologetic, and fiercely loyal to her loved ones, all of which are qualities that make Beth lovable. According to Reilly, it's Beth's flaws that have endeared her to fans of Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone franchise. In an interview with Esquire, she revealed that viewers can empathize with the character as she is real, and doesn't bother hiding some of her more questionable personality traits. In her own words, "It's like this gray area of in-between, which is where all women live, or human beings live, which is the truth. Somewhere in that, there is a primal thing that Beth kind of touches on, which I think is what makes her such a unique character. I love that stuff." Despite viewers' appreciation for Beth, Reilly might be too good at playing her character. In fact, becoming one of the standout performers on Yellowstone has changed the way some people view her in the real world. Reilly might have struggled to grasp Beth Dutton early on, but it's safe to say that she eventually embodied the character. Not only that, but it might be the role that ultimately defines her entire career, despite Reilly impressing in a wide range of projects before joining the Sheridanverse. Speaking to the Los Angeles Times, the Yellowstone star revealed that people view her and Beth as one and the same, which gives her mixed feelings. "My life could not be more removed from the world of Beth, but people really do think I'm her. In a coffee shop, they'll say, 'Hi, Beth.' I've been acting since I was 17 years old, and I've never had a character that has been this strong in flavor and gotten such a passionate response. It's horrifying and exciting, depending on the day." Fortunately for fans, Reilly isn't ready to move on from this universe quite yet. She will reprise the role in one of Yellowstone's upcoming spin-offs that centers around Beth and Rip Wheeler, Kohlhauser, starting fresh following the events of the show's fifth, and presumably final, season. More trouble probably lies in the lovers' futures, but viewers know that Reilly's character is more than ready to handle it. With a piercing gaze and a sharp tongue, Beth Dutton storms through every scene of Yellowstone like a wildfire, blazing, unapologetic, and unforgettable. And according to actress Reilly, who brings Beth to life with both fury and finesse, there's a good reason why fans can't get enough of the complicated Dutton daughter. Beth is the kind of woman who says what we're too afraid to say. Reilly begins, seated in a quiet corner of a Montana set, her English accent a soft contrast to Beth's often ferocious voice. She's power and pain and raw truth, all rolled into one. At first glance, Beth Dutton might seem like the quintessential anti-hero, a woman who burns bridges and bulldozes enemies. But Reilly believes the appeal runs much deeper than Beth's barroom brawls or cutting one-liners. She's broken, Reilly says candidly, and that brokenness is not hidden behind polish or pretense. It's right there, bleeding out even when she's dressed to kill and tossing back whiskey. Indeed, part of Beth's magnetism comes from the delicate balance between her bruised soul and her steel spine. Viewers have watched her claw through unimaginable grief, the death of her mother, a traumatic sterilization, her brother's betrayal, hands still rise, teeth bared, fists clenched. She walks with her wounds wide open, Reilly explains. But instead of crumbling, she fights harder. That's something people respect, especially women who've had to survive on grit alone. It's that survivor spirit that has fans everywhere rallying behind Beth. On social media, she's a modern-day outlaw queen, quoted like scripture. Fans adorn t-shirts with her best insults. They toast her with shots of bourbon. She's become a symbol of ferocity in a world that too often asks women to be soft, small, and silent. Beth doesn't ask permission, really laughs. She'll blow up a building before she writes an apology. Still, the Yellowstone actress is careful not to glorify Beth's rage. She's not always right. Sometimes she's terrifying. But I think people love her because she never lies to herself. Even when she's hurting people or hurting herself, she owns it. She doesn't hide. This authenticity, Reilly believes, is at the heart of the Beth phenomenon. In a television landscape littered with cookie-cutter characters, Beth Dutton breaks the mold. She's not a trope, Reilly says. She's not the good girl, the damsel, or even the villain. She's her own category, something closer to Shakespeare than soap opera. Reilly, who's known for her roles in period dramas and British cinema, admits she never imagined playing someone like Beth. When I first read her, I thought, my God, who is this woman? She was terrifying but magnetic. I couldn't look away. To prepare, Reilly immersed herself in the American West, its myths, its violence, and its code of honor. She studied trauma psychology, but also poetry. Beth is a soldier and a poet, she says. She might destroy you, but she'll do it with beautiful words. The bond between Beth and her father, John Dutton, played by Kevin Costner, is another reason fans stay hooked. Their scenes crackle with complexity, part love, part loyalty, part barely restrained fury. She's his daughter and his weapon, Reilly explains. He forged her to be strong, to never need anyone. But deep down, she's still the little girl who lost her mother and didn't know how to grieve. Then, of course, there's Rip Wheeler, the man who sees Beth's fire and doesn't flinch. Their love story is brutal and tender in equal measure, and fans have dubbed them one of TV's most epic pairings. Rip is the only person Beth lets her guard down around, Reilly says. She trusts him with her scars. That's rare, even for real people. In the moments where Beth softens, cradling a child, confessing a truth, protecting her family, fans see the vulnerability beneath the venom. Reilly doesn't overplay those scenes. Instead, she lets them land quietly, like a heartbeat under armor. I think that's why people root for her, Reilly adds. Because they sense the cost of her strength. They know it didn't come free. As Yellowstone gallops toward new seasons and spin-offs, Beth's legacy only grows. She's not just a character anymore. She's a cultural lightning rod. Fans see her in themselves. The parts that fight, the parts that ache, the parts that never apologize for surviving. When asked if she thinks Beth will ever truly find peace, Reilly pauses. I don't know if peace is in her story, she says. But I think she's looking for something like it. And maybe that's enough. For now, Beth Dutton remains a force of nature, scarred, beautiful, and utterly unbreakable. And thanks to Kelly Reilly's fearless performance, she's not just watched. She's felt. She makes people feel brave, Reilly says softly. And sometimes that's all we need to love someone. That's Beth Dutton, the woman who burned down the world and still made us cheer.